Hi, I'm Leanne Harris, team leader and CEO for Keller Williams Portland Central. And today on Getting to Know Your Realtor, we have Jacob Weigel, who's going to talk to you about why he is your area expert. So hi, Jacob. How are you?
Hello. I'm good. How are you?
Good. I've watched you absolutely flourish in real estate
Thank
over
you.
the last, has it been about a year and a half?
It's been about a year and a half now. Yeah.
Awesome. And what I've seen is you really step into that role and crush it and just provide exceptional service. And you have absolutely provided such great customer service that you have clients that are starting to refer to you, and your business has gone completely gangbusters. We don't see that with every single realtor. And you definitely are an exception to the normal person that comes into this business. So
Thank you. Yeah.
yeah, so I wanted to talk to you today about your highs and lows in real estate. So tell us your story in real estate.
Yeah. So I got into this about a year and a half ago. I actually had family. My grandfather was an agent, and he didn't love people. He didn't love doing this, but I saw him do the work, and he was someone that I come from a family that's working class, very blue collar. Did never have a lot of money and a lot of kids, and the oldest of four. My grandfather provided so much clarity and education and understanding from my parents, who then became investors and did a couple of flips as we were growing up. And my parents were able to weather '08 and weather some pretty strong financial difficulties because of what they had been taught and how they had invested. And so going through my undergrad and then working in the service industry, I had always known that I wanted to get into this. And then at about 23, 24, I was like, all right, it's time to make the change. And I've been able to provide for my clients the same kind of education and safety and conversations about how to protect their assets and investments and how to protect their family as well too long-term and provide that security.
I
So
love that. It's like you were just completely immersed in real estate from the time you were born.
Yeah. We didn't sit at the dining room table and talk about traveling or college or master's degrees, but we talked about investments. We talked about real estate. We talked about mortgages, and that's how I got here. So
Awesome.
I grew up in this. So
That's
yeah.
awesome. Well, I think the other thing is that we're watching, another recession right now, even though some people are feeling it, some people aren't yet. We do know that a recession is here based on the GDP and some other numbers that are out there, but housing is absolutely crushing it still.
Yeah.
And our top advisors are saying that housing is going to pull us through this market. And yet what we're also hearing from top advisors and economists out there is that a tangible asset is the thing that you really want to look into right now. And I think that that's why we have less than a month of inventory in the Portland area. And so with that being said, and we know like there's no inventory, it's crazy out there. We know that we're watching multiple offers come in. What is the low in real estate for you?
Right now so my background before getting into real estate has been service industry. I had a bunch of close friends and people that I had worked with for quite some time and employees of mine that were getting ready to get into their first homes that they fell out of the buying process because they all lost their jobs. And emotionally, that was pretty tough. And in that same piece, I've been really grateful to be able to provide supports and knowledge for them. Knowledge is power. And so being able to talk about their finances and come from a space of really trying to protect them and help them in this, that's been, a low in having to support, but it's felt so gratifying being able to take care of these people. And then on the other side of this as well too, I've had a lot of folks that are first-time home buyers that are in a similar situation of my own sphere and people that I love and that I've known for years that like I live in 700 square feet and working from home has been difficult and we're all feeling that to some capacity and I need a 3-bedroom house. And those folks, when we met and we went through setting our very first expectations, we didn't know that we were going to have a situation of less than 31 days of inventory in the Portland markets. Yeah, right. Like we've got 2 weeks of inventory in Clark County right now. I've got buyers that have been looking in Vancouver for so long, and it's tough out there. So having to reframe those expectations and really work with those like that buyer fatigue and chat with these people and go, hey, you know what? Like this feels demoralizing. This feels tough. And I need you to sit for a couple of days and know that we're going to get through this. and that we're going to find a way to push you through. I just got someone into a door here today, actually, that finally now we've been looking for a couple of weeks. We've written 5 offers, and now we finally got the home that they're looking for, and it's wonderful. But that's made buying really tough in our lower market that we've had here. So
yeah, I mean, if people think that because we work in real estate or because we have, you have your real estate license, that you're finding the deals and that you don't have the same challenges. And I know even myself, it took me 18 months to find my next house. And
there
so,
you go. Yeah.
I mean, you were a part of that. You showed me quite a few homes, so
Congratulations, by the way. How's the
yeah,
deal?
finally can be in a house.
There we go. Yes.
So if, somebody that wanted to get into real estate or a client were watching this, what are the 3 nuggets that people should walk away with by knowing Jacob Weigel?
So let me speak first to any of those that are wanting to get into real estate. I have been reading, actually, have you read Blue Fishing before?
I have not.
Okay, so I'm working through it right now. I'll pass it off to you when I'm done, actually, all right?
Okay.
But the biggest challenge that I had getting into real estate was just starting. And I think that you see this a lot as well too with new agents, where you want to shake them and go, hey, start, get this going.
Yeah.
Anyone that is looking to get into real estate or make a career change, especially for anyone out there that's been in the service industry, this is something that I have written down multiple times every morning. And it came from Blue Fishing, and it's the quotes, you don't drown from falling in water, you drown from staying there. And that is
I like that.
The hardest thing for me when I started this was really giving it my all and really walking through and going, you know what, this is going to be hard. And I'm not the experts. And so pivoting and going, you know what, however, I am someone that will admit when I'm wrong immediately and learn, and I learn quickly. And I'm going to be around people that are producing more than I am. I am around people that are coaching me, that are teaching me, that are coming from a space of contributing to my life and my career. And I have seen exponential growth in the last year because of that. And I'm so grateful for being at a firm that has a culture of building relationships among both top producers and new agents, where we are coming from contribution every day and we're teaching every day. Yeah. I think that even right now, there's a lot of agents who've been doing this for 10 years that are learning a lot in this recession right now.
Always.
And so this has leveled the playing field. We are all learning right now.
Oh yeah. I think that that's the beauty of real estate, is that there's something to learn, whether you've sold 1,000 houses, 100 houses, 10 houses, there's always something to learn.
Yeah.
What I love about you is that you are an extremely learning-based person. You have very little ego about the process, and you do follow the great people in our company that have gone before you. And I think that smart people do that. I also see you spend a lot of time with our principal broker to ensure that you're protecting that transaction for your client. And I watch you hour after hour really buckling down and protecting that client. Okay, what other bits? What else do you have for us?
If anyone out there is in a firm where they don't have a relationship with their principal broker, get over the fear of changing brokerages. This is something that, I was in a transaction here that closed about a week ago with an agent who's been doing this for about 5 years. And about halfway through our repair addendum and our negotiations, the agent asked me to continue writing all the contracts for our transaction, because at 5 years in, he did not know how to write these contracts.
Oh my gosh.
So 2 things happened there. First, I went, all right, no problem, because every contract was in favor of my clients, and they won in this transaction. They got the price that they needed with all the repairs. It was all in favor of them. And then the second part was, hey, dude, you need to be involved with someone that can teach you this. Because while I am here and going, you know what, I'm going to show up for my clients, I'm also going to show up for this industry and go, hey, come on over here. Let's chat for a little bit.
It's crazy to me that clients just trust their uncle in real estate or their aunt in real estate or whatever it might be. And they don't understand that, first of all, the brokerage does matter. The protection for your E&O claims matter. The processes that you go through. Your principal broker that is absolutely making sure that the transaction goes through smoothly. But that person handed all control over to you, and you are a fierce negotiator. And the one thing that you're going to do is work on behalf of your clients.
Yeah.
That person basically said, I don't know how to do this, and I'm not even working on behalf of my clients anymore. I'm just handing the deal to you. And I mean, what a beautiful transaction for you and your buyers.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, but that's why you need to know your realtor. And that's why we're doing these podcasts.
It's one of these situations where when you go, clients believe that because your agent has a real estate license, that therefore like they're just they're an expert, that they've been perceived as this complete expert in their sphere. And that's not the case. I'm sure that there are other agents there too in this office that have felt this, being folks that know what they're doing, that have, a great background in writing contracts, that know how to negotiate, that we find ourselves kind of doing both sides of the deal oftentimes. Yeah. I just had another transaction as well to the close that, we were going after a condo. It was a townhouse, and we were able to negotiate a $2,500 credit for a repair that the HOA is going to cover, because the listing agent didn't know that the HOA covered the repair in the first place.
Wow.
I'm going to negotiate that. Your agent didn't, that agent did not show up for their clients. They did not know what was going on. Yeah. And I'm going to take that win. I'm always going to go for that win. I'm going to get my buyers what they need to have.
What's funny is that a lot of our agents too, because of the processes that we have, our agents get more, as their business continues to grow, we get more and more referrals, and we don't spend money on having to write checks to lead generation systems, because the referral system is so great. So yeah. Okay. Do you have any other nuggets?
At the moment, no, but let's continue on the conversation. All right.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the things that you and I talked about prior to starting this podcast was that you offer Keller Mortgage to your clients. Do you want to talk about that?
Oh yeah, I do. So another set of clients that I just had, let me give you just a brief kind of walkthrough of where they're at, because I think that a lot of people out there, and even you and I, are really understanding and empathetic in this situation. So I met these clients at an open house. They were chatting with me, and they had been pre-approved through a mortgage program that was specific to helping teachers and educators here in the Portland metro area. Nice. So demographic of this family, it's a husband and wife. They're in their late 30s. They've got two beautiful young daughters that are there. Mom doesn't work because her dad needs help. And, she's got two little ones as well too that are now being taught from home. And so her husband is a teacher. And we know that teachers are not paid enough, and that they, work super hard. And in this market, obtaining a house for a family of four that's growing is tough, especially in the school district they want, with the home size that they needed. And so they were telling me about this program because they were so excited to have down payment assistance from this company. And I went back to my office after the open house, and just out of curiosity, I did some research. And what I found out is that this pre-approval that they had gotten, it provided them with about $30,000 in down payment assistance, because, this guy's a teacher. But in the long term of owning the home, this company would actually own 25% equity in their house.
Oh, wow.
So when they sell it, they have to pay back a 25% check to this company. And immediately I called them and said, hey, I want you to understand something. You're going to be taken advantage of here, and we should chat and build a plan around this. And so we were able to figure out a way to get their home on the markets and get them far larger than what they could have netted in the first place. They had an agent that they were working with that kind of told them their house wasn't worth what it actually was, and we proved that to be incorrect. And then I got them pre-approved through Keller Mortgage. And so, in a typical lending situation, they would have paid about, it was a $500,000 loan. They would have paid, about $11,000 in closing costs and had a rate of about, 2.9%. Because Keller Mortgage had, no lender origination fees, and it, there were all these other discounts that are there. Folks don't realize as well too that the rate itself is discounted. Yeah. Their closing costs were $2,100, and they got pre-approved at 2.565.
Wow.
So their payment's actually less, and they own 100% of their house now. And I just dropped off keys over the weekend.
Oh my gosh, so, I love that. It gives me chills. I don't think that people even know that Keller Mortgage is not offered to the general public. It's only offered to, if you work with a Keller Keller Williams agent, you get this loan with no points. You get $1,000 back at closing, and there's no fees, no origination fees whatsoever.
No.
So these loans are crazy what are going on out there. And I'm like, how can you guys do this? It's just awesome.
Yeah.
But the reason why we can do it is because it's owned in-house and Gary Keller owns it. And he wants it to be that you use a Keller Williams agent because he wants to give those, he believes in home ownership. And that was the part that I was like, the passion in this company from the very top leader of our organization is just phenomenal. So last question, if you were to write a book, what would it be about?
Oh, you know, if I've thought about this for a little while now. I think that if I were actually to write a book, I think that I would title it or somehow tie it into like, I think calling it the story in our head, or this idea that we have our own experiences and trauma and beliefs that come from what has happened to us in our lives. And we project that onto other people and into situations across the board in our lives. And that's, we need to sit in that and evaluate where they're coming from because they hold us back. That's tough. In the last year and a half, you know, being learning based, I've learned a lot since we shut down in March. And because I've pivoted and taken that in, I've, I think, had a great experience since March, and learned a lot and been in a lot of tight, uncomfortable, difficult situations and grown phenomenally. But in general, had I sat with for years in the story in my head or the ideas that I had based on my experiences in life, I wouldn't have the relationship with my family that I have. I wouldn't have the relationship with my clients and coworkers, with my partner, with those that are, you know, more successful than I am, and those that are also new to this and learning. I would not be able to listen and grow to those that are, you know, in a more successful, longer term position than I am, and teach to those that are new and struggling as well too, because those experiences hold us back at times. And so evaluate that and reframe and look and go, okay, this happened, and it doesn't mean that I'm going to be treated this way every situation going forward.
Have you ever
So
read
how do I move past that?
Have you ever read the book, Who Moved My Cheese?
No.
It's kind of like that. It's like, you know, you've got to get going instead of always being like, my cheese has to be right here. But it's almost like you're saying, who moved my ego? Like, you just got out of your own way. So I really love that. Well, thank you so much for being on today. I'm Leanne Harris, and this was Getting to Know Your Realtor. And this is Jacob Weigel. Have an amazing day.